Hey everyone, welcome back. Thanks for coming in on this Tuesday night. We are kind of early today, 8:30, so it's kind of nice. Not much to talk about as far as miners, not much news going out there. We only will take a look at the miners as far as have institutions been buying into them the last month or so. The data that we had prior was a month ago, so we have the latest data right now. We'll look at that. We'll look at how the Bitcoin did today. We'll look at how miners did today as well, like we normally do. And then we'll get into your guys' Q&A. Should be pretty easy. All right, but again, thanks so much for coming out. Let's see, what do we want? We want to do this. Not financial advice as always, for entertainment only. Do your own research, right? Full disclosure below that as always. Hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out tremendously. Let's take a look at what's going on here with Bitcoin today. Bitcoin is struggling to get past the 50 simple day moving average here on the daily chart, which doesn't bode well for us. You can see it here. We tried to do that today, right, with Bitcoin going up to approximately a high of 97,353. We finished out the day at 96,534, but you can see right there it touched that 50-day simple moving average, and we're trying to do that again today here on the chart. You can see it right there. It touched it and came back down. Hopefully we break above it here shortly in the next day or so, I'm hoping. If not, we're going to get rejected from that spot, and we're going to possibly fall even more. That's kind of my thought process on this. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out, but I'm hoping that it does actually break through this. That would be a good sign here, I think, for us. If it doesn't, then we, like I said, we might fall some more here. Okay, so that's Bitcoin. Bitcoin did pretty good today. The miners did pretty well today as well. MicroStrategy did quite nicely today, up 4.19%. Bitfarms was up higher during the day, and then it pulled back down. It only finished at 0.64%. BitDeer had a really, really nice day today, up 11.28%. It's definitely been beaten down here in the last couple of days, so a nice little bounce here. And you guys can probably hear that my puppy upstairs is playing with her bone that we got her. So sorry about that. Let's see here. Cypher was also up today a little bit, 2.91%. It had a sizable pullback in the last couple of days also. Cleanspark was only up 1.57%. Had a nice day yesterday, though, compared to the other miners here, more or less. I mean, it finished up only like 1% or something like that, but it still did better than others. CORZ was up 2.28%. Hive was up just a little bit here, 0.34. HUT was up 4%. And then we have IREN up being 4.88. Mara was up just a little bit here, 0.99. Riot was up 3.9. It also did better. Then it came back down a little bit as Bitcoin price was coming down. Wolf was up also nicely today, 7.12%. Then some of the smaller miners were up just a little bit or down for the most part. We had any Argo and DigiHost being down. The rest were up just a little bit here. BitDigital did pretty good, being up 5.61%. And then the ETFs actually did pretty good as well. They were up 3%, 2, 3, and almost 4% for WGMI there. So those did pretty good. Let's take a look at the network hash rate really quick as well, see how that's trending really quick on it. See where we are right now. This is a 7-day average that's been coming down here. We are at 773 right now. This is as of the 13th. If we look at the 30-day average as well, we can see that that has come down a little bit as well to 783. The 1-day average, let's see if we had any new peaks here. No, we still have that one single peak that we got to 939 exahash on it. So I still expect this to continue to grow here into this year as well. I still don't know exactly where we're going to end up for the end of the year with network hash rate. I'd like to see some the miners at least provide some kind of guidance what their growth targets are for this year, and then from that I can kind of extrapolate the data and see where the actual network might get to for this year as well. All right, but that's all we have right now on that. Bitcoin for the month of January here, that's the ETFs here. This one is up 3.86%. Right, we're almost halfway through it. Almost, we're at the 14th right now. We got one more day. We'll be kind of halfway through it. So it's doing all right. We're still in the green, but we'll see where we end up at the end of the month here on it. So that's it on that. Let's take a look at the institution side of things for the miners. Have those guys been buying recently or not? And it's kind of interesting to take a look at here. So here's this institutional buying for the 1 month and the 6 months time frame. We have on the left hand side here the 6 months, on the right hand side the 1 month from last month basically. We can see here that there were shares added from 6 months ago. CORZ has had the most shares added, 118 million shares added from institutions. TeraWolf second there, 103 million. Cypher third with 53 million. Marathon fourth spot with 51. Then you got IREN with 28. Riot with 26. HUT with 25. BitDeer with 11. Bitfarms with 9. Cleanspark with only 7. And Hive actually had a decrease here of 2.5 million shares since then. And then here's the stock performance change from 6 months ago. CORZ is up 50%. TeraWolf up 44%, right? HUT is up nicely, 70%. BitDeer even better, 109%. And then we got IREN only up 16, Riot up 18. Then we have quite a few that are actually in the red. Cypher being down 6.7, Marathon being down 12, Bitfarms down 37%, Cleanspark down 34, Hive down 18%. So those guys have definitely not done well here. Which is kind of surprising that Cypher and like Marathon being down price-wise compared to their actually increasing in the number of shares being bought. So who's actually selling? Is it retail? I'm guessing it's retail. Could be also shorts, things like that that are driving these guys down lower. If we look at the last month comparison to these things, we can see that Bitfarms had the most shares added at 3.6 million here, followed by Marathon with 1.6, Riot with 1 million here, IREN with only 970,000, Cypher with 910,000, Hut with 180,000, BitDeer 150, Hive with 110,000, Cleanspark flat, CORZ Scientific was down 410,000, TeraWolf was down 3.1 million shares there. And then here's the price difference from last month. Bitfarms is, everybody's down, it looks like right now. There's nobody up from last month. So Bitfarms was down 24%, Marathon down 29%, Riot down 12%, IREN down 20%, Cypher down 31%. So that's the second worst here. TeraWolf did 32%. Hut was down 19%, BitDeer down 10%, Hive was down 23%, Cleanspark down 16%, Core was down 13%. Everybody in the last month has been down. We had the end of the year, tax loss harvesting, putting profits on the books as well. So that's all attributable to that right there. A lot of shorts are also contributed to that as well. We talked about that in yesterday's video as well. So that kind of played all into it. Perfect storm basically at the end of the year here for us on this stuff. Then we look at the percentage owned by institutions here. CORZ Scientific has owned the highest. It's owned 71% by institutions. That's a lot. Then you would have Hut 8, 62%. Right, these two guys are both HPCI play potentials there. So those guys are definitely getting valued, or institutions are definitely getting into those guys. Marathon, 54%. That is mostly with their being the largest miner, I think. So that's the reason for that. Then you got TeraWolf at 48%, followed by Cleanspark at 47%. Then you would have Riot at 43%. After that, we go to IREN at 37%, Cypher at 33%, then Hive at 30%, Bitfarms at 22%, and BitDeer at only 20%, based on that information. And then when we look at the analyst high price target changes, so we're looking at just the changes that have happened over the last 6 months and the last month. We'll take a look at those as well here. And we can see here that CORZ got a $6 increase in the high price target for them, right? $6. TeraWolf got $1. Cypher got $2. Marathon got $18. IREN got 0 here in the last 6 months. Riot got $2 improvement there. Hut 8, $19 improvement, along with BitDeer at $19, right? Bitfarms 0, Cleanspark 0 as well. Hive at $3.48 improvement in their high price targets. From last month, here's how things stack up here. Bitfarms got a $1 improvement. Marathon got $3 improvement. Riot got $1. IREN flat. Cypher flat. Hut 8, $6 improvement. BitDeer $17.80 here. Hive 0, Cleanspark 0, Core 0, and TeraWolf 0. And then you can see the number of actual institutions that are in each company. Marathon has the most with 509, followed by Riot at 440, Cleanspark 385 institutions, TeraWolf 306, Core at 332, Cypher 247, Hut 8 259, Bitfarms 215, IREN only 194, Hive 144, and BitDeer 122. What do we have in common with the lowest guys here? These guys are all foreign owned mostly, right? BitDeer is, I believe, Singapore. Hive is Canadian. IREN is Australian. Bitfarms is Canadian as well. Hut 8 is now U.S. domiciled. So that's, you're seeing a little bit of improvement there on those guys. So I would expect for like Hive and IREN, when they do move their headquarters over to the United States, the number of institutions would probably increase at that point. Hopefully it won't be too late into the bull run here. The sooner the better, I think that would be on it. And that's basically it. Here's all the data that I track on it, right? We can see the differences for all these things here. So Patreon members will have access to all that. We also have like the buy ratings here, right? Why don't we look at that as well? So strong buy ratings hold underperformed sells over here. From 6 months ago, Core, who got the most here actually? It looks like BitDeer got the most, 7. Then the next ones would be Riot with 6, along with IREN and CORZ Scientific. All right, so there's a change there from that. Let's see. After that, we would have Hut 8 with 5, followed by Bitfarms with 5, actually. And then TeraWolf 4 and Cypher at 4 as well. Who else is at 4? Hive is at 4 as well. And then Cleanspark only got 2 here. and then Marathon only got 1 strong buy rating increases in the last 6 months on it. If we look at for the last month comparison, Bitfarms got 1 additional strong buy rating, Marathon got 0, Riot got 0, IREN got 2 additional ones, Cypher got 0, Hot 8 got 2 additional ones, everybody else got 0 here on it. So you can see all the data points that I track for these miners. It's getting ridiculous to a certain point, I think. I don't know if there's any more data points that I could track on these guys going forward. But we do track a lot, and I definitely enjoy it. I like looking at numbers and changes and things like that. Hopefully you guys enjoy it as well on it. But that's all I got for you guys. So, yeah, it's interesting to see how that's playing out right now. A lot less activity here in the last month here than what we've seen in the last 6 months, for sure. And yeah, so this leads me to believe that this is my personal feelings on this. I think because there's so many institutions in these guys that they will want these guys to run, especially as Bitcoin goes up in value here. Right, they're in it to make money. We're all in it to make money here. So I don't think they're going to keep them down too much longer, hopefully. But time will tell on that one. All right, that's it. Let's get into the Q&A side of things here as always. And then the access to the spreadsheets are available to Patreon members. Link is down in the description for that. You know the drill, $8 a month. Then you might be able to find a couple spots, $4 and $5. Definitely take advantage of those if you find them. Okay, that is it. Let's see what you guys have to say or say if anything. Always preface the question with a question or a question mark and then the question. And I'll try to scroll up a little bit and go through some of these comments here in the early beginning, and then I'll look for questions as well. Let's see here. Okay, Christian asks, Seb, why do you keep tracking Bitcoin miners when miners do poop? Well, because I eventually believe they're going to do much better. That's kind of the reason why. I don't think that we are out of this cycle yet. Let's see here. Don Brown asks, Seb, would you add global liquidity M2 versus Bitcoin price as a metric that you track? So track the amount and then see where the Bitcoin price is. Would you like to see that on a chart or something like that, or just a comparison between the two? But I get what you're saying there with global liquidity. You believe that global liquidity, as it increases, the value of Bitcoin actually goes up, right? That's kind of the correlation there, I think. Let's see here. What else do we have here? Let's see. Robbie says, Christian, obviously BTC prices will reflect in miners' price, especially when they squeeze from shorted. Yeah, it could be definitely the reason. And then I don't see any more questions here. So you guys are pretty well educated, it looks like, which is good. Oh, things are popping in here right now. I don't know why there was a pause. All right, let's see. Question, low volume on the miners again today. Think it's just calm before the Trump storm? Could be a number of things. You know, they're kind of maybe waiting for the quarterly results to start coming in here, which will be happening next month. That could be it as well. But yeah, I don't know. Okay. Question. Get Sebastian reading on X. Some IREN bulls feel we may be close to a very lucrative AI deal. Have you heard anything? Well, Dan talked about it in his quarterly earnings, right? When they had the conference call there, he talked about it that 2 hours before the call there. They got an email from a hyperscaler that's, valuation of over $1 trillion, that they're interested in one of their sites. So that's kind of where I think that is coming from. But I'm not sure. That's the only thing I really know on that. Okay. What else? All right. I think that's it. That's all we got as far as questions are concerned. I'll give you guys a couple more minutes, see if you guys have any questions, or I'll give you guys at least a couple more seconds. If you guys have any more questions, we'll call it a day. Be an easy stream tonight, which is going to be kind of nice. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, there's not much else going on with the miners, unfortunately. It's kind of a calm right now. I think a lot of these guys are going to be also in kind of the quiet period right now as they get closer to their quarterly results. Usually gets a little quiet at that point. And then let me see here. Robbie says, patience. Yeah, I agree for Christian. Let's see here. Question, what month do you think will have the most action? I honestly would think that we might have the most action here in February when they start reporting. February into March as well. That's kind of what I would think, but we'll see. Let's let's see. Benjamin says, I'm buying more Cleanspark. My average is $10, but I still believe we can 5 to 6x from here, and that's fine by me. Nice. Yeah, I definitely want to buy some more too. Let's see. When do you think Bitfarms will move to the U.S. headquarters? I think after they buy Stronghold out, because Stronghold's already in the United States, right? They got headquarters there. I think that might be that. When Bitcoin moons, we don't know when that's going to be. All right. Hi, Seb. With the number of institutions in the miners, they could be increasing with the expectation of BTC moving with new Trump commitment to crypto. Yeah, definitely could be that. I mean, there's many things that they're looking into when getting the miners, right? How are they growing? Do they have HPCI potential possibly there? Do they have a HODL position? How are they managing their cash flows? All those things. They have a lot more insight than even we do, because a lot of these institutions do talk to the heads there, and they get maybe a little bit more insight than what we would get on it. So I think they position themselves really well here for them to do much better going forward, I think. Okay. Hey, Seb, what would be the whole addition to Cleanspark from FASB rules? What would be the whole addition? We talked about that yesterday. Let me see if I can pull that up. That was, what was that under? What did I do that? FASB rules under, or EPS, earnings per share. For Cleanspark, it would have been roughly what I'm calculating here. It's an estimate, right? Based on where the Bitcoin HODL was at the end of September to where it was at the end of December here. For Cleanspark, it came in like a 491 million addition on their balance sheet. So that should bode well for them on that one. And you can see the rest of them here as well at that point. So that's kind of where we are on that. Go back over here. Let's see what else we got here. Let's see. Hank says, it has been quiet. Trading volume in the miners is low. As we approach Q4 earnings, things should pick up. Yeah, I can agree with you there. Robbie also agrees with Hank there. All right. Let's see. Hey, Seb, please would you elaborate more on BTC and your overall outlook on it for the coming days? Coming days, I mean, right now I'm not liking the setup that we have on Bitcoin in general, with it battling the 50-day simple moving average right now. So that's got me a little bit concerned here that we might actually fall more, that we're not done with this correction yet that we're seeing from the 108,000, right? Historically, corrections for Bitcoin have been like 20, 30%. We're only got to like 17.75% here on, what was this, Monday trading day. So we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, right now I'm a little concerned with this. We might be falling down a little bit more here in the next couple of days if this doesn't actually break through the 50 simple day moving average and gets above it and holds there. So that's my concern there in the short term. But is it really a concern, or is it more like a buying opportunity at this point? If you think that Bitcoin has not topped out at 108,000 and you believe that it's still going to go up higher, it's just we need a correction here. This would be a good buying opportunity in my opinion. And that's kind of where I'm looking to also possibly buy if we get a nice dip here. I didn't get a chance to buy on Monday because that just happened really quick, and I didn't get a chance to move funds over. But I would be looking to buy here if we get down to, like, I think the next stop is going to be possibly, if we do go lower, it's going to be right around 86,000, which is going to be our 100 simple day moving average. See if we can hold there. And then if we don't hold there, then we might be going down below that. At that point, we might be going back to fill the gap here on the CME futures, right? Gaps don't always fill, but a lot of times they do like to get filled. So that's something to look at as well. And that would get us down to the, on the CME futures, simple 100-day moving average right there, which would get us down to about 78,000, roughly somewhere around there. So that's kind of where I'd be looking at it right now. Also, we have the CPI data coming out tomorrow, so we'll see what that does. If that's not good, that might send us obviously lower as well at that point, because that's going to be a catalyst for everybody to think that the Fed's going to not lower interest rates anytime soon, right? So that could be a catalyst that kind of brings us down further onto it, and at that point, we might see that correction that we've been talking about here for a couple of days, couple of weeks now, that we might come down to like roughly 75,000 at that point, which would be right around 30% correction here on it. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. All right, let's go back to the Q&A. What else do we have here? Ryan asks a question. As time goes by and these miners mature, what metrics do you think are gaining more importance? Good question. I think, well, a lot of people harp about the dilution, right? But I think, and I still hold this to be true, that some dilution is, well, I'm not going to say some, I don't want to minimize it. Dilution is okay as long as you're getting something for it, right? We saw huge growth from a lot of these guys here from where they were just a couple of years ago to where they are right now. And that's going to translate for them making a heck of a lot more revenue than they did actually just 3 years ago, right? In the prior bull run, or 4 years, wherever it's been now, in 2021. So that's, 4 years ago, basically. So I think, I don't know. I mean, the other part was the compensation, right? Are they getting too much compensation? Which, we could possibly argue that that's the case. But as far as what metrics are going to be important, I think it's still going to be growth, operations, HODL potentially as well, HPCI potential there as well. I mean, there's a lot of things that could go into it, but I think the main thing is operations. Operations have to be, I would think would be like the top thing. Because the way I view it is when you purchase a miner, you want that miner to be operating as close to 100% uptime so you can get that thing, an ROI on that thing within as least amount of time as possible. And in order to do that, you need to have that thing operating close to 100%. So that should be one of the things that's, I think, most important. But will it be? I don't know. Okay, let's see here. Gapfiller says, comment, have you checked into Ortex? It has daily short interest for miners. Ortex, let me take a look at it right here, right now. I have not checked it myself here recently. Ortex, let's see if we need Ortex short interest. Let's see if we can pull that up. Short interest trading. Okay, so you need to join for free or log into it. I will take a look at it. Let me write this down before I forget. Because I will forget because I have too much stuff on my head here. Ortex short. Short info. All right, I appreciate that. I will definitely take a look at that in the next day or so and see if maybe I can join for free on that one. All right, let's go back here. Oh, I'm already here. Let's see. Hank says MicroStrategy has definitely caused some disruption to miners' price appreciation. I would agree maybe to a certain point. Yeah. Let's see. Question: since most of the BTC is already mined, would the cost of mining continue to impact minimum price of Bitcoin? I mean, we have still 100 years to go before it's all mined, right? For the most part. So would the cost of mining continue to impact minimum price? I think it does. I think it will. There's going to be always, I mean, you're going to need a certain bottom price to it to where it's still profitable for the miners to basically make ends meet for the most part. So yeah, I would think so. Okay. What is the typical movement of miners after a presidential inauguration? But surprisingly enough, the halving events are kind of right around the same time as the presidential elections, right? The year of, and it's usually a couple months before that. Typically right now, if we look at the cycle, let's go back here. Let's go back to this one here. We can see, let's go on the weekly. I think might be the best chart to take a look at here on this one. So we had the election here in, what was it? November, right? November, after Trump got elected, we had a nice run up here on it. So this was 2024. Let's go back to 2020. Let's take a look at that. January 23, August 20, October, November, December. Okay. There's December. Where is it at? November. So there's November, right around November 16th here. We had last time around, Bitcoin also pumped right into March, basically. Let's see, it got up to January. We had a pretty good January here. Then it came down in, went up into the early part of January. Then it went down the second week of January, third week of January. And then we started to go back up as time went on into April, basically. For the next couple of months, we went up. But we also had these corrections here where we had a 21% correction here on the weekly. From the bottom of this one says 6%. This one says another 9%. So we've had these corrections here as well in that rate. So it's looking kind of similar to what we've seen in the past as well. Right? We had the halving event here in May. This time around we had it in April. And this goes back to here. Right? We had it in April here. And then we had up, and we've had basically two weeks down here. So we might... Well, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. But like I said, I think we might be coming down a little bit more before we go up into, towards the end of January into February and into March as well. We should be going up based on this, at least, if we think the cycle is going to repeat more or less. All right, let's go back here. Okay, Seb, looking back, could we have seen BitDish performance in advance? See, we knew that they're going to have a lot of growth happening in the second half of 2025, going into 2026. We knew that the machines, the ASICs that they're building out there are going to be slow to begin with, right? The production there is going to pump into, again, second half of 2025. So if you look at that, could we have looked at that and seen that as maybe an indicator that things might do well? Possibly. But I was thinking that Bitcoin's possibly going to start running like right now. And possibly by the time we get into like the second half, we might be close to being over with this cycle. So I didn't think that would be a catalyst that would drive BitDeer. At least I didn't think so. But it also seems that they're getting a little bit of a push from HPCI as well. So yeah, I mean, there's those things. The HPCI definitely caught me off guard with a lot of the miners. I didn't think that they would do as well as they did here with no real announcements other than from Core Scientific and CoreWeave, right? Everybody else was talking about how they're transitioning to this, but no real announcement except for now Wolf came out with a pretty good one here recently in December, right? BitDigital's been doing it all year, basically getting these smaller kind of contracts and things, but that definitely caught me off guard here. What did they do or not do different than other miners that they outperformed others? Gosh, what did they do or didn't do? They're building their own ASICs. I think that is the big thing. They also have a huge pipeline of growth going into 2025, second half and beyond. I think that's the only difference there, really. Operations, I mean, they've been kind of a smaller miner when it comes to their self-mining, right? They're only at, 8 exahash, I think, right now for their self-mining. Others are Cleanspark's at 30, what are they at now? 38, 39, whatever it might be right now. I can't remember. Marathon's at 50 plus. Riot's at 30 something. IREN's at 31 as well. So a lot of these guys are generating a heck of a lot more revenue right now compared to BitDeer. So it was just a surprise for me, at least. What else do we have here? Hi Kaz as well. Let's see. Would BitDigital have a positive EPS? They should. Yeah, I would think that they should have a positive EPS. As long as they kept their costs pretty in check. Let's see. Christian asks, Sebastian, will you admit that with the ETFs MSTR, the market doesn't need miners as Bitcoin proxies? The multiples are not going to happen again, man. Just warning you. You might be right. I honestly still think, I don't know what you guys feel, but I still think that the miners' best days are to come. I mean, we can see that in the revenues already. What they're generating here is huge compared to where they were just a couple months ago. So I think that's going to be a driving force going forward for us. Or at least I'm hoping that's going to be the driving force. But you might be right that with MicroStrategy and the ETFs, people don't need miners. But then why are the institutions so heavily in them? 60, 70% are owned by institutions, right? So I don't know. I still believe that they'll do great, right? But time will tell on that one. Let's see, question. If miners have to account for miner depreciation when reporting, why can't miners also account for infrastructure, building electrical as appreciation? Good question. Right, especially as they go up in value, right? Yeah, I don't know how that would work. Okay. Let's see here. Shep Dabos says, may not 100x, but these companies are small cap stocks, not a lot of cash needed to come in for huge price changes. Yeah, agree there. Let's see here. Hi Seb, which miners will be in profitability, whether that will impact on stock price? So you're talking about EPS, right? Earnings per share. We looked at that yesterday. There's going to be quite a few of them, but that's an estimate on my part here. I'm not, right? That's based on Q3 results for them as far as what they mine. I'm trying to extrapolate the data into what they actually mined here in Q4, more or less. But the ones that can take advantage of the FASB rules, I think will have a huge helping hand there on that. And then here is this one, right? Hive is located in Canada right now, so I don't think they can actually use the FASB rules, which would be a huge boom for them, 118 million here. The other one is Bitdeer. I didn't have Bitdeers in here. Bitdeer has like 800, 900 Bitcoin as well, but they're out of Singapore. I don't think they can take advantage of that as well. So that doesn't really, that's a moot point there for them. But based on this, I see a lot of these guys being pretty positive right now as it is. If we include depreciation on that as well, we can see that still a lot of these guys should be at least positive EPS, with some having really good positive numbers potentially, as long as they keep their costs more or less the same that they had in Q3 into Q4, right? The only thing that's going to change in Q4 for a lot of these guys is that's their end of the year, fiscal calendar year for them, which means they're going to possibly put some bonuses in there, some possibly more share-based compensation in there. They're going to, put in all the crap that they can into it at the end of the year, which definitely might have impact these estimates here. But I think they're going to be pretty close, at least. I'm hoping. We'll see how close we get to it. I think this is the first time that I did this, so take it with a grain of salt as far as where these things might come out at. Okay, I tried to extrapolate the data as best I could, but I don't have the insights into everything that they're doing there. So we can only use the data that we do have from last quarter for them. Okay, let's go back here. Let's see. LM, I'm not sure what you're asking. Can you show a video of something? Can you show a video, maybe, I'm guessing. Heinz Ketchupy, do you think there's a chance that Bitcoin topped at 100,000? No, I still don't think so. I think that would be way too low, especially with all the adoption happening here. I think it would be, one, way too fast for it to top, and two, the adoption. Yeah. And Hank says, no way the 100 is a top. Yeah, I don't think so either. Yeah, no chance if SBR comes into play. So, strategic Bitcoin reserve. Woodstock asks a question here. With 21 million Bitcoin, approximately 19.5 already mined, less the estimated 4 million loss, we have mined 90% of the BTC. We should see price ignite soon. Your thoughts? It's supply and demand. Like anything else, there's going to be, every 4 years, there's going to be less supply. The demand is growing, especially now as demand is growing even more. Yeah, we should have the price go up on Bitcoin here. Question, will FASB be part of this upcoming earnings or the next one? So a lot of the miners have already started taking advantage of it this past year. If you look at their numbers going back to, I think some of them also took advantage of it last year for Q4, I believe. I know Cleanspark, I believe, did. Others have done it as well, so they will definitely continue going forward, I believe. Okay, let's see. All right, question. You have the future EPS for Cleanspark at roughly $1.60-ish per Robinhood. The estimates are for negative. How is there such a swing between the two estimates? Maybe I am mistaken. Well, those are estimates. I'm counting the FASB rules in that as well. I don't know if they're counting that. If you don't include that in there, right, I think that's going to be probably pretty close to it, because I think that revaluation is what's going to help a lot of these guys here on it. So I think that's maybe the reason for it. Okay. Question, Seb. Since ETFs now compete with the miners for people that want BTC exposure, why would they stop shorting the miners? Profits. Once these guys start providing positive EPS profits, that's going to change, I believe. Also, there's people that want that volatility in the miners, right? Traders, things like that. They want to move these things up because they're easy to move up. I mean, you've seen it possibly a couple of times already this year where the miners go up 15, 20% in a day. So you got the volatility there. I think traders enjoy that. Hedge funds enjoy that, all that stuff. So I think that's all going to be impacting it as well. Mike Burry here. Question, Seb. Hive mentioned they locked in less than 0.02 per kilowatt hour energy in Sweden. Yes. How much will this impact their cost to mine per Bitcoin, and if they find similar costs at other sites? I mean, the site that they have in Sweden is not big. It's pretty small, actually. So it's definitely going to help out, especially with some of the older miners that they had there, and then improving the miners that they got into it will help. But the question I have is, the 2 cents per kilowatt hour, is that all in, or is that just for the energy side of things? Is that also taking into account the transmission fees, the delivery fees, all that stuff that goes into it, taxes, right? If you add on all that other stuff to it, where does it actually come out to be? Is it like 3.5 cents, 4 cents, 4.5 cents? I want to know the all-in cost at that point. Okay. Robbie says, gone fishing. That might be the best thing for now. Go fishing. Let's see. Hi, Seb. Analyst prediction for Cleanspark's IREN are 24 to 20. Has they considered BTC price when predicting forecasts? While predicting, have they considered that? I don't know. That I do not know. Okay. Let's see. Neville asked a question. Do you think the pump we get in Inauguration Day will be similar to the pump we got on Election Day? If we get a pump, I don't know if it's going to be similar. It's hard to tell. Right? We got the CPI data tomorrow. If that's bad, maybe at that point we might get a nice pump afterwards, right? Next week. It might be a couple of days of doom and gloom here. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Okay. Do you think the inflation data will be positive for the markets today? Well, tomorrow, right? The CPI data coming out, I don't know. Obviously, we want to make, ideally, we'd like to see the CPI data go lower, right? That would be a good thing, I think. That means there would be maybe a higher, slim chance of getting another interest rate cut. But we'll see. See, what else do we have here? Okay. Hi, Seb. If institutions are still heavily buying miners, how come they are so heavily shorted at the same time? Thanks. That's a good question there. The only thing I can think of is they're hedging their bets. One thing, right? A little bit. But it could be also other people that are shorting them, and it's just not them. A lot of the institutions that are in them are like, what is it? Oh, what is that one? I want to say Black Bear, but it's not Black Bear. It's the other one. Oh, the big guy. You guys know what I mean. There's a bunch of these bigger institutions that are in them, and there could be also some other hedge funds and things like that that are shorting them. Okay. What else do we have here? Tom asked a question here. If HUT and Meta get the deal finalized and Bitcoin hits 150,000, could you see the stock hitting $50? Depending on what kind of deal it is. But yeah, that would definitely be a huge boom for them at that point. If they get that for, what is it? Like I think they're building out a $2 billion data center to house $12 billion worth of, or $10 billion worth of GPUs and all that stuff. So that's going to be huge for them. But the other part of it is, can they actually get that built out in a year? I have high reservations that they can actually do that in a year. Right? They're saying by the end of 2025. You need a lot of items for that to do that, and a lot of those things are long lead items. So we're talking about like 12 to 18 months, something like that. So that would be definitely feed for them to do that. Okay. Let's see. Do you realistically still see Riot going back above 30 or 40 this year? Yeah, as long as Bitcoin corresponds now. Bitcoin plays along with us, goes to 200,000, 250,000. Yeah, I think that we're definitely going to see that, and maybe even higher than that. Okay. Mike, did I skip your question? Sorry, let me go back. Let's see, Hive is moving to Texas. That's the one. Hive is moving to Texas and gap reporting. Yes, I thought it was a comment, not a question. So sorry, I missed that one. Okay, let's see here. Do institutions buy miners for longer run or just sell at the peak of bull run? I think they're going to be selling just like we're going to be selling, right? Somebody's going to have to be buying at that end. It's unfortunately going to be probably, retail, right? There's always going to have to be somebody that's going to be exit liquidity, unfortunately. So that happens with every single stock, every single index, whatever it might be. There's always somebody that buys the top and somebody else sells at that point. Question, if you were forced to liquidate all your assets and put all the money into only one miner under 10 exahash, which miner would it be? Under 10 exahash, then I'd probably put it into Hive. If that's the only thing I could do by under 10 exahash, it would be right now, Hive. Hive and maybe Hut 8 with their HPCI, because they're under 10 right there. So those two possibly. Okay. Let's see what else do we have here. Andre says the street has forecasted CPI to be higher in December, but they also forecasted the PPI would be higher. PPI was only marginally higher, so now CPI tomorrow will be marginally higher, you're thinking? We'll see. Let's see. Christian says Mara just forced the authorization more shares. Yes, they are definitely getting more shares. Let's see. Okay. Let's see. What else have we got here? Okay. You guys are doing a bunch of comments here. I don't see any other questions. If you guys don't have any questions, we'll call it a day. Good questions of the day. Made me think. I love it. But yeah, I don't see anything else coming in here. We've been going on for almost 45 minutes here, which is kind of like our normal time here, which is nice. So tomorrow, CPI data is coming out. We'll see what happens with that. No guarantees on that one, whether things do well or not for us. Bitcoin right now is still at, where's Bitcoin at? It's going up a little bit here. Where's it at? On the weekly, let me go to the daily here. Let me see it. Go over here. It's still, yeah, it's still under the 50-day simple moving average. We'll see if we can get past it. That'd be great. If not, like I said, my fear is we might be going down a little bit more. But we'll see. Time will tell, as always. Nobody has a crystal ball, unfortunately. But yeah, we'll call it a day. We'll leave it at that. So we'll see what tomorrow is. CPI data, we'll see what the miners report. We'll see how Bitcoin does at that point as well. We'll see how it does before that report comes out as well. So we'll have a bunch of stuff to talk about. I'll look at anything else that we want to cover as far as metric side for the miners as well. And yeah, we'll get through it all. All right. So again, thank you so much for coming in. Love you all. Hope you guys have a great night and a great rest of the week. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye.